NPC semi-finals, as we touched on at the start. Otago.
Oh, crikey.
Here he is. They beat up Manawatu and they beat them up proper.
Oh,
It was an absolute hiding.
If you want to see a hiding, we're watching the final this weekend at 4:00.
I don't know about that, Paul.
Watch out.
Did you watch the game? Otago versus Manawatu.
I saw the highlights.
And they were pretty good, weren't they?
They were pretty good, but to be fair, Manawatu have basically been dragged along for the best part of this season on the back of one Aaron Smith, and now that he's not there, they lose a hell of a lot. And then was it Cameron?
Yeah,
that's a big hole that's left in that Manawatu team, especially experience-wise. You can see that the effect that Smith had on that team when he was there, and they're a little bit lost without him. So yeah, Otago played well, thoroughly deserved their win, but it was very much an understrength Manawatu side.
Please, Richard, anything to add on that game?
Well, I think you've been a bit harder than Paul. I thought they played well. I mean, yeah, it wasn't the Manawatu team, but I think Otago just gone from strength to strength. They started off the season pretty slowly, but they've won 3 of the last 4, I think, or maybe even 4 of the last 5.
4 of the last 5.
Yeah. And they've had a lot of close sort of wins. They've ground them out, but that was we really saw what their backline can do. Like Savakolo and Ioane had another good game. So yeah, I think that we're in for a bit of a good game this weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, I agree. I've been most impressed with their defense the last couple of weeks. Yeah, they've really stood up. Only led in 16 points there, and one of those tries was right at the death too. Yeah, looking forward to this weekend.
Is this the Pick and Go show, or was it the Karl and Otago show?
Oh, mate, come on.
Right.
It's been a few weeks since I've been on the Pick and Go. I'm excited. I'm back. I want to bring the passion to the punters.
Gone from an Otago podcast, from a Manawatu podcast to an Otago podcast with a change of host.
I'm filling the seat, keeping the seat warm, just different colours. Anyway, let's move on to the other finalists. Taranaki, they beat Southland in the wet. Looked like a miserable game. And yeah, I'll be honest, didn't watch it, but they got the job done. Beat Southland 2 weeks in a row. They're into their final undefeated.
And as we know, traveling down south is very, very hard to pick up points here. You've got to work hard. And then add on the fact...
It was in Taranaki.
Taranaki.
Sorry.
I don't know if you know, but Southland only won 1 game in the year.
Oh, sorry. I meant under Southland conditions.
Well, yeah. They did bring the weather with them that time.
Good save.
Neil Finn would have been proud.
Yeah. Richard, anything to add on that game?
Yeah, I mean, they got off to a strong start. I think it was like 10-0 after 10 minutes, and it looked like they were going to run away with it. But, I mean, the weather very much played to Southland's advantage, and they kept in it. But, yeah, I mean, a win's a win for Taranaki. They did what they had to do, but may not have been as convincing as we're expecting. I was on the minus. I think it was 18.5. I don't know what it jumped at in the end, but even with the weather, I would have thought they would have been able to, put a few points on. They were throwing the ball around and trying some things. It sort of, I think it makes things pretty exciting for this weekend.
Just on the, just pulling up the stats for the games here. Taranaki, they're undefeated, but they started the season off with a hit and a roll. They were beating everyone by 50 or 60 points, it seemed like. But their last 2 games against Southland, they've only won by 12 and 14.
14, yeah.
For that, wow, this website is a shambles. Just FYI. They haven't taken out the games that were removed.
Correct.
Ugh. Before that, they only beat Manawatu by 12. I guess 12 points. It's still a lot of points, isn't it?
There was a late try as well in that Manawatu game.
Yeah. Just beat Waikato. Sorry. Yeah. Are they running out of steam, or am I reading too much into this?
I wouldn't be surprised seeing it upset. To be honest, I mean they've had a great season, but I mean they feel like they've come from here and they've gone down. I mean we saw it happen to Hawke's Bay on the weekend. You know they were absolutely flying, but Tasman came and they bought their game and outplayed them. So I think it'll be a close game. I think the line's about 5.5 for it, isn't it? So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Good segue. You mentioned Tasman and Hawke's Bay, and Tasman into another premiership final. Hell of a game against Hawke's Bay, Paul.
It was almost. Well, they had the conditions were a lot better than they had on the other side of the. We're up at Taranaki, sorry, and both teams sort of gave the ball a wee bit of air. It was a very, very entertaining match. Could have gone either way, pretty much for the whole game. I don't know, maybe Hawke's Bay were just resting back on the fact that the Ranfurly Shield is tucked away for another season.
Sorry, is this the Pick and Go podcast or the Hawke's Bay podcast?
Well, I don't know. Who's got the shield? I'm just stating facts here. They've played very, very well all season, and they could very well have dropped the ball once Ash Dixon finished halfway through, but they just continued on. They've got a very, very solid squad there. Tasman had to play very, very well to get there to beat them. They have had their, I guess Tasman during the season just fell into a wee bit of a lull, and just I'm not sure why. Just dropped a few games, but they looked very, very good last week, almost back to their best. So it looks like, weather permitting, it'll be another nice open final this weekend.
Yeah, and their opponents, Waikato beat Canterbury. Been a bit of an up and down season for Waikato. Richard, they started off with a hiss and a roar, won 3 or 4 in a row, then lost 3 in a row, and then they've won another 3 in a row. So they're peaking at the right time, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they are, and I think I saw that they're playing back in Hamilton as well. They're in level 2 there, so they'll be happy to be. They've had their last couple of home games played in Aotearoa, obviously. So come right at the right time. But yeah, I mean, from what we saw of Tasman last weekend, they definitely look back to their best as well. So that Waikato Canterbury game was just similar to that. You know, the weather was similar to that Taranaki game. It just was low scoring and a bit of a grind, but they held on. So they'll be happy that they did that, and they coming off that close win over Otago week before as well. So they've sort of shown the last couple of weeks they can hold on and in those tight games. So yeah, bring it on.